Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear brothers and sisters, I want to talk about something that I have come across the past many years that needs to be addressed. I'm not the only one or the first one addressing it, but I feel like now it's getting close to Ramadan. It's a very crucial time to talk about this issue. I have come across some Muslims that they consider themselves Muslims, and they absolutely do not like to practice and do not like to relate to Muslims, and at the same time they feel that Islam is the right religion, but for some reason they are not able or willing to practice the religion. And it's not just one reason. Some of the issues that I have noticed that comes up, someone, for example, has had a kind of a negative experience with Islam or some Muslims in the past, in the long past, and they decided that they don't want to have anything to do with practicing. Although they realize that there's one God, they realize that there is not multiple gods. It's like they have the core, the fundamental base of the Islam of Tawheed. However, they refuse to practice. Some of them are too proud to practice, to bow down to Allah, to consider themselves spiritual. Some of them are feel like they have had answered. The question has not been answered, so therefore they're comfortable to just keeping the status quo. I just want to tell you something. Times like this would not happen again and again and again every year. Now we're very close to Ramadan. Think about it. Okay, you've had some negative experience in the past, whatever it was. I want to ask you, I want to implore to you not to combine bad experience of the past with Islam itself. Do not blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something that someone may have said to you or done to someone you didn't like. Please do not mix the two together. The two do not go together. It's two different things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Quran is rational, is logical, and everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us and given to us as a guidance, as commandments, everything makes sense. There is nothing in the Quran that doesn't make sense. So if you think that your mind is capable of knowing what is right and wrong at all the time, then I would have to say that you're wrong. People like you have considered certain things to be right only while later they realize it's not right. Or some nations thought something is right and then they found out that it is not right while later. Some people made certain thing legal and later it was made illegal, or vice versa. Human beings have made laws and they have broken laws. Simply, human beings do not know what's right, what's wrong at all the time. Not that they do not know at any time. The logic of human being is not the same as logic of the one who created them. So I just want to implore to you to this time humble yourself. Come before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's Ramadan. First of all, acknowledge that there's only one God. There's only one God. If you acknowledge that, you're in the right path. But to know that there's only one God does not mean that you know Him. You cannot judge Him in any way, shape, or form unless you know Him by His own words, through His own book, which is the Quran itself. So if you have any kind of a problem, issues with Islam, with Allah, only it's because you do not know Allah. You do not know Allah. If you come to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you would never criticize Islam or Allah or whatever He has decreed. So in order for you to have peace and have comfortable life, it is important to you return to Islam. And you cannot return to Islam unless you know who Allah is. And you cannot know who Allah is unless you open the book of Allah, where He tells us who He is and how to guide us. He showed us the guidance. Ramadan is near. Every single one of us are in need of His help. We have some problems, some issues we want to solve. If we think we can be proud enough not to ask Him, the problem will solve itself or we solve it, we're wrong. He can solve it. He answers the dua. He has said, "Oh, tell my people who have wronged themselves, do not despair of the mercy of Allah." He can forgive everything. Just come to Him. He can forgive anything you have done, I have done. He can forgive us. So ask Him for forgiveness. Be humble enough to ask for forgiveness for your own shortcoming. And turn to Him and ask Him for the things you really need. I know there are things that you really need. Me too. So let's ask Him now. This is the right time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.